Hey guys, welcome back. Dr. T, living your best life here in the Philippines and changing the setting a little bit. You can see the festive background. That's my cheesy little Christmas tree I bought to make it feel a little bit more like home and have some kind of sense of Christmas. But they're big into Christmas here in the Philippines anyway, if you don't know that. So anyway, this video is going to be budget. I've been here going on 3 months, so I have a pretty good idea on what things cost in the Philippines. And before I came out here, I watched a lot of different YouTube channels, people covering their budget. And of course it helps, honestly, it gives you an idea on realistically what you're going to spend. But now that I live here, I kind of have a different mindset on it. And I'm going to be very honest with you, I think, about the budget. And budget, I think, is, and I probably shouldn't be saying this because I would like you to watch the video, but watch it because I think I'm going to cover some good things and kind of give you some things to think about, I guess, before you come here. And just being honest. That's kind of my goal, is to just be a very transparent and honest giver of information, I guess you can call it. So a lot of YouTube channels want you to believe that you can come to the Philippines and you're going to live on less than $1,000 a month. So I'm here to tell you, you maybe could do it. It's not a life that I would want to live, just personally. And I'm not some spoiled rich asshole by any means. I don't have to live on $1,000 a month, that's for damn sure. And I just wouldn't want to live on $1,000 a month. So let's talk about that. Could you do it realistically? Yes, of course you could, right? Rent here, my condo is 30,000 pesos, which is about 500 US dollars. I live in Lapu-Lapu in Mactown, Newtown, in a new condo complex in a great building, so my rent is a little more. But over in Cebu, an IT park area, and the nice areas of Cebu, anywhere that any foreigner is going to want to live. And like I said, I'm not some spoiled rich guy that came to the Philippines and I just, I'm too good to live in, anywhere unless it's amazing. That's not my mindset. But let's be honest, most of the Philippines is in utter, and I mean utter, poverty that we have literally, probably most people watching this have never seen in their entire life. Unless you've traveled extensively around the world, the poverty here is on an entirely different level. I was kind of laughing the other day. I bought a motorcycle. I'll do another video on that later. But so I go out riding around a lot of neighborhoods. And I was riding around in one of the neighborhoods in Lapu-Lapu, and there's a pharmacy, and there's chickens running around in the front yard of the pharmacy. And I just laughed about that. I'm like, you would not believe this if I told my friends or family in America that there's a pharmacy with chickens running around the front yard and goats crossing the street and cows, in the corner. And you just wouldn't believe it until you get here and you see people with no running water, that are collecting rainwater on the roof, that have no electricity, that are outside pumping water out of a hand well, you name it. So again, could you live like a Filipino? You could live for $500 a month. The average Filipino, and I has talked to lots of them, probably well over 100 of them at this point, just local workers and etc. The average Filipino makes less than 500 US dollars a month. So could you live like a Filipino? Sure. Of course. They all do it. Would I want to live like that? No way in hell. You could keep it. Not being mean or a jerk or spoiled or whatever. It's just no life that I would want to live. So realistically, your rent, like I said, you don't have to pay 30,000 pesos. I've seen places, decent places. The lowest, I think, personally, that I would want to live is about 20,000 pesos. Anything less than that, you're not getting anything that I would honestly want to stay in. You're just not. I met a couple foreigners. They split a house over in Bohol, and the house rent was 20,000 pesos, and they're splitting it. So to do the math, 10,000 pesos each. That is great. That is really cheap. But I don't know what a 20,000 peso house looks like in Bohol. Probably not that great. Just being honest. I've done a lot of research. I was actually looking at getting a second place in Bohol, and I still might. So yeah, like I said, these kind of videos, you kind of have to take them with a grain of salt. But like I said, I'm trying to be honest. If you're used to any standard of living, which like I said, you're watching this video, you like a decent place to live, right? Expect between, and I know this is a broad spectrum, but 20,000 to 30,000, maybe even upwards of 35,000 pesos a month. 30,000, you're getting a great place here. You really are. So 500 US dollars a month is my rent. Food, again, very subjective, right? Very, 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 very subjective. I eat very particular. I eat a lot of eggs. Every morning I have about 5 eggs, 6 eggs with some little bit of cheese. I have my coffee. I don't spend a ton of money on food. I don't have like a budget for food because that's going to be totally different depending on you. I don't know what you eat, right? I don't know what you, maybe you buy Coke, maybe you drink Pepsi, maybe you drink beer. I don't drink beer at all. If I go out to a bar, maybe I'll have one. I'm not a beer drinker, so I save a lot of money on alcohol, right? I know a lot of people watching this video, maybe your budget alone on alcohol is probably $300 or $400 a month. Or going out to bars. I don't spend that money. I go out to eat. I go out to eat to restaurants. I go to resorts. I do all that kind of stuff. So I kind of factor in all that, right? Generally, what I do is during the week, I eat a pretty regimented diet. My breakfast is always the same. Like I said, 4 or 5 eggs, maybe a slice of toast. Maybe I have some fruit, something like that. Lunch is real similar. Dinner, I got an air fryer and I started doing chicken at home and a little bit of rice. So that's pretty cheap. Chicken here is pretty cheap. Eggs are not that cheap. I covered this in another video. If you're a milk drinker, milk is astronomical here. I mean, about equivalent to about $8 US a gallon. And it sucks. The quality is just terrible. Cheese is really expensive. Certain things are really expensive, actually. Nuts, if you're like almonds. I seen a bag of pistachios today in the grocery store was $10 US. Or no, sorry, almost $20 US. Almost $20 US for a bag of pistachios. So nuts here are crazy expensive. And some things are cheap. The chicken's cheaper. The fish is cheaper. Stuff like that. So again, I don't have a minute down to the dollar what I spend a month on food. What I do is this. It's not that I'm wealthy by any means, but I don't have to pinch pennies to live here. That was not my goal when I came to the Philippines. I always told myself I'm not going to move to the Philippines and be broke in the Philippines. That's no life I want to live. I'm not living some extravagant baller lifestyle either. But if I want to jet over to Boracay for a weekend, I can do that. I don't have to worry, right? Do I have money to do it? Or if I'm going to go to a resort and eat dinner, a couple nice dinners in a month, I don't have to, freak out that I spent a little bit of money. So that is, again, everybody's lifestyle is different. So you have to think about those things. What I started doing, the first month here, I spent a lot of money because I was in kind of vacation mode. And I don't really count that. I wouldn't even factor that into my budget. But what I started doing is I go to the ATM and I take out 10,000 pesos a week. So 40,000 pesos should last me the whole month. And that's everything. That's not counting my rent. So that's about $700 US, somewhere around there a month, not counting my rent, really not counting my electric and my cable either, or my internet, sorry. My internet bill is about $40 US, and my electric is really high for some reason, and I think it's because my air conditioning units are screwed up. It was over $100 US for the month, and I don't keep it like an icebox in here. I have 2 units because I have a big condo, but I don't keep it ice cold. I did used to keep them on probably too much, so I try to cut that back a little bit this month, and we'll see how it is next month. My first bill was really low because it was kind of the middle of a billing cycle, but I have friends in the same building and they're paying less electric than me, and they keep their air on colder than me. So I think, again, very subjective. Maybe you like to keep your house warm, maybe you keep the windows open, right? I keep it pretty cold. I keep it really cold at night, so my electric is higher. But expect anywhere as low as $50 of American money per month for electric, all the way up to over $100. So again, it depends on a lot of different factors, right? Like I said, I don't factor that into my 40,000 pesos spending. And 40,000 pesos, not counting the rent, not counting the electric and my internet bill, because I pay those. I don't factor that into the cash that I take out every month. So what I do is, like I said, I hit the ATM. I take out 10,000 every week. I set that aside, and what I try to tell myself is when it's gone, it's gone. If I have money left, I just put it into the next week, right? And that covers all my food, incidentals, right? Getting a haircut. I don't do my own laundry because I'm lazy and it's cheap here. You can take it to the laundry and get it done for about $5 US. To me, it's worth it. I don't have to mess with it. I do that. I get my haircut like every other week here because it's cheap. It's 150 pesos, so $3 to get a haircut. I bought a scooter. I don't factor that in. Gas. Those things are amazing on gas. I'll be lucky if I spend $10 a month probably on gas. I joined a gym. So the gym wasn't cheap because I joined the Shangri-La. You can join the Shangri-La Resort. It has a package deal where you can join the gym and it gives you access to all the facilities, the pool, the beach, all that kind of stuff. So I splurge because obviously I'm a big gym guy and I'd rather have a decent gym, and even that gym isn't all that great, but it's better than what I have in the condo. So I wouldn't factor that into your cost unless it's something that you love, like I like doing. So gyms here are going to run you, well, local gyms in town, but they're far. They're cheap. You could find those for, I think they're about 5,000. No, less than that, sorry. 2,000 pesos, something like that, maybe less, maybe 1,500 pesos, something like that. So about $30 to $40, which is more actually than we pay in America. And I lived in an area of the country that had Crunch gyms and EOS Fitness, which are phenomenal gyms, and they're $10 a month, kind of like, like I'm sure you have Planet Fitness and stuff like that. So we have phenomenal gyms in America that are cheaper. They don't have that here. The gyms are absolute shit, and they're expensive. But again, that's going to be another cost if you're a gym guy. Like I said, you kind of have to factor that in there. And that covers everything. And I use that money to, when I go to fancy dinners, and I'm not talking fancy American fancy for here, right? If you go out and you spend 1,000 pesos to 1,500 pesos, you're getting a pretty decent dinner here. And that's 20 to 30 American dollars. You and a date can go and eat pretty comfortably. So let's say I spend 30,000 on my rent, another 1,500 on internet, and then another, like I said, hopefully less than $100 US a month on electric. Water is cheap. I think it's like $6 American, $6 US, something like that. It's so low, it's ridiculous. $5 or $6 it was. So that's not a factor. I still have an American phone number also. That's a cost. Again, obviously dependent on you. If you have any need to keep an American phone number, your SIM stuff here, your cell phone here is really cheap, but it's really bizarre. I talked about this in another video. You got to buy load, and then you got to buy data separate, and it's a pain in the ass, and you got to do it every month. But anyway, all in all, it costs about $10 to $15 a month for cell phone. So really cheap there, a lot less than we pay like in the States. Your cell phone bill is $100. But That's something, honestly, you need to think about. I need to keep a U.S. number because I still work and do online things that I need to have a U.S. based number. So I keep 2 cell phones. I knew that coming over here, and it's just an extra expense. It's worth it to me to keep that number. And it wasn't a big deal to have a second cell phone, so they're cheap enough. What else? I think that covers about everything. And like I said, I don't know if that helps you or not. The only thing I would say is I don't try to, like I said, I'm not living some baller lifestyle. Like I said, I don't go out partying. That's not my cup of tea at all. But I go have coffee every day. There's a Starbucks literally 50 yards outside my door. There's another coffee shop 50 yards the other way. I have coffee every day. I sit out there with my buddies and, I'll drink a latte. So I'm dropping 150 to 200 pesos. And then if I eat breakfast there, I'm dropping 400 pesos between coffee and breakfast. I do that pretty much without fail every single day. It's just something I like to do. I'd rather do that than go out drinking at night. So whatever. Like I said, all this is very, very subjective. I don't know what kind of lifestyle you guys lead, but the reason I say that is with that money, I live very, very, very comfortably. I go out to eat as much as I want. I go out to resorts. I go out to nice dinners. I take dates out all the time and obviously buy for them. And I'm not pinching any pennies. So all in all, I spend about $1,200 US a month. Could I do it for less than that? Without a doubt. Could I do it for less than 1,000? I personally wouldn't want to. Me, just personally. I would be unhappy. I don't want to be pinching pennies so much where I'm worried about going to freaking Starbucks. Like, oh shit, I better not go to Starbucks another day because I bought a coffee yesterday. That to me is no life I ever want to have. And that sounds maybe like I'm spoiled, whatever. But if you're coming to the Philippines and you have to do your budget down to, I need to spend less than you only have $1,000 US a month to spend, you're not going to, I don't think you're going to be that happy here. I just don't think you are. 1,200, you can live very comfortably. 1,000 is pushing it. You get under 1,000, and I think you're just going to be miserable. You're going to be sitting at home every day eating rice and eggs like the Filipinos and living in some crappy place. You get down to 800. I've seen stupid videos of live in the Philippines for $700 a month. Yeah, you're going to be living like a Filipino, and very unhappy, and not going out to eat, not taking dates out. Sure as hell not going to resorts or dipping over to Bohol or Boracay or Palawan or going on excursions like I've been doing all the time. That doesn't factor in those things. I do those things for about $1,500 a month, honestly. That's about what I've been spending, maybe a little more because I've been going on more vacations within a vacation, I guess you can call it. But honestly, 1,200, you're living extremely comfortable. 1,500, you can factor in, you're probably doing a long weekend excursion a month with $1,500 because you can get hotels here for really cheap. I got places literally on the beach I found one that was $28 a night, actually. $28 US a night was my last trip I went on. So stayed 3 days in a hotel for $100. I think it was $97 or $96 with taxes and everything. So you can do that once a month. I can do long weekend, 3-day excursions. It's kind of what I've been doing. And maybe I'm still under 1,500. 1,500 if I throw in some fancy dinners while I'm doing these weekend excursions. If you have more than that, of course, you're going to live amazing. Like I said, I've been able to actually save a lot more money here because I'm not spending a lot of money like I was in the States on dumb things like, you know, a haircut is $30, and everything is just more expensive. Everything in the States, or probably whatever country, honestly, you're coming from. So, but that gives you, like I said, I know it's just a ballpark, and I didn't write down a list, and I'm spending $18 a week on beer and $7 on chicken, and those budget videos to me are just dumb and useless. And I'm not bashing anyone else's YouTube videos, but like I said, I'm giving you very broad parameters. Plan on 1,200 if you want to live any kind of normal, comfortable lifestyle and be able to go out to eat and take dates out and actually have a normal life, probably that most of us lived in wherever country you're coming from. 1,000, you're really, really pushing it. Under that, you're really pushing the envelope into miserable territory, in my personal opinion. Whatever makes you happy, whatever floats your boat, right? If you have 1,500, you're going to live great and be able to have a lot of fun and do things. So between 1,000 and 1,500. So I hope that helps. And like I said, not down in the weeds, but I think that's actually better. And I wish I seen more videos probably like this, honestly, when I was coming over here, than watching people's video and telling me they spent, you know, $23 last month on Pepsi. I don't really give a crap. That doesn't really help me, right? All right. Hope that helps. All right. See you guys.